everything in my life felt like it was crashing around me. So I remember clinging extra hard onto people that were probably expired from my life, situations that weren't serving me, just the things that I felt like I can control this. Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Kyrah. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not new, hey sis, welcome back for another video. I just made my superfoods green juice. So this is daily green boost powder, water, and lime. So I'm ready to roll. I'm charged up. I've been thinking a lot, right? Because over the past few weeks, your girl's always thinking, but over the past few weeks with all the things that have been going on with my mom transitioning, with me being in a transition with work, I really feel like God, the divine, is forcing me, not asking me, forcing me to sit still. And I was thinking about just being still and what it means to sit in stillness. And I recognize that as someone who is a recovering control freak, if you would, okay, it's hard for me to just sit still and just be okay with the fact that I don't know which direction life is going in right now, and I just have to be okay with that, right? Like, I know that ultimately the road that I'm traveling and the journey that I'm on is taking me where I need to go at the time that I need to get there, and it's taking me on the path that's going to help me get to, you know, whatever is destined for me. But in this exact moment, I am being asked to just sit still, which I didn't realize. I feel like for so many Black women and so many people probably in the world, Black people, Indigenous people, it is so hard to just be able to sit still, right? And there's so much beauty and stillness. I was also, like, as I was reflecting on this, I was thinking about the fact that feminine energy is still, right? Feminine energy is cooling, it's nurturing, it's receptive. It's not like constantly calculating, trying to figure stuff out. It's not about taking action all the time. Feminine energy is the ability to sit still, relax in your feminine energy. That's the biggest thing. Masculine energy is more of the action, movement. Where are we going? What are we doing? How are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, masculine energy is the more outward, dominant thought process. What's the next move? Like, that type of vibe. When I was thinking about it, it was so interesting to me how being a young Black woman who went to college, right? I went to college and I worked my whole way through college because I needed money to pay my bills and to support myself, right? A lot of times when we come from communities where we don't have a lot in our family, you don't get the luxury of being able to sit still. You don't get the luxury of being able to focus on one thing and everything else be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to just be a student and focus on just being a student because there's so many other things at play, and you got bills that you got to pay, or things you got to do, or you might want spending money while you're in school, or whatever it is that you have going on. And first of all, going to school, we already know, is such a blessing and such a privilege. And I be having mixed emotions about college, child, but that's another conversation for another day. Ultimately, I regret nothing. I'm so appreciative for my path. But the point that I'm trying to get at is I went to college for 6 years because I got my bachelor's degree, and like I just told y'all, I was working in school. So I didn't have a lot of internships in my field because truthfully, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do when I was in college. I didn't really want to go to college, and I just, divine order had it that I would end up there anyway. So I spent my first like 2.5 years of college like, what am I doing? Where am I going? By the time that I realized what I wanted to do, I got my bachelor's degree in communication. This video was not supposed to be about college, by the way. I'm just giving you a quick little backstory. It's gonna be quick, I promise. By the time that I figured out what I wanted to do, I felt like I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough experience within the field aside from just the degree to be able to get a job. So I felt like my only option was to go to school some more, which is crazy expensive and all these things. And there's so many things to that. But the whole point that I'm trying to get at is just like, for the past 6 years, well, I've been out of school for a minute, but like for that 6 years, I was just go, 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 go. Even in high school, right? Like, again, going back to coming from communities like ours and having a different experience than some of your peers, I started working when I was 14. So it's like, I went from being a student and working to being a college student and working to a grad student and working. And then literally like life just kept happening. Life just kept happening, right? As soon as I graduated from my master's program, I started working immediately, like within, I'm talking like a 2-week span, which is a blessing because I didn't have to stress about where am I going to get a job and how's that all going to work out. But I have not had any moment to just stop. Even with me moving a lot, I'm always like, what's the next thing? Where am I going? What am I doing? You know, like always trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to need to pivot from here? Like, what is my next strategy? What is my next plan? I feel like everything is just real, like everything can be very strategic and having to think 10 steps ahead all the time, from not having the luxury to be able to just be still in the present moment and just be okay with the fact that I don't know where this is going to go, you know what I'm saying, in the next year, or what's going to be lined up for me after this opportunity, because we're taught to be prepared, and you should be prepared. But I think there is something so beautiful and so necessary within, like I said, resting in that feminine energy and being still. And that is something that I am being forced to do right now. And y'all, like, it's really not no joke, you know. Stillness is so beautiful because I'm able to really just sit and reflect. And right now I am just, my whole intention is for me to just show up and spread light, and for me to be present and to receive the divine downloads that I'm supposed to be receiving. And also just really spending time communicating with the divine, trying to figure out like, what am I supposed to be doing? And you see how once again it's like I'm being still, but I'm still trying to figure out like, okay, so what's the next move? I believe that through stillness, and we're gonna go on this journey together, like I said, but I believe that through stillness our greater purpose, or what we're supposed to be doing, will be revealed to us anyway. I feel like a lot of times when you're trying to control everything around you, things happen in life that you cannot control, and then you have no choice but to surrender control. But I feel like a lot of times, even when we surrender control, you're still trying to hold on to the little bit of things that you can control. And I know my first experience with parental grief, when my dad transitioned in 2020, I remember it was like everything in my life felt like it was crashing around me. So I remember clinging extra hard onto people that were probably expired from my life, situations that weren't serving me, just the things that I felt like I can control this, clinging extra hard to that stuff because there was so much transition and change in my life that I was holding on for dear life. And so now with the transition of my mother, just here I am again, and I'm at a much more peaceful state, and I'm much more in tune with the divine this go round. So I really am making it my mission to surrender and trust. I don't have no choice anyway, so the sooner you get on board, the better. But I definitely do feel, like I said, it's a testament of your faith. It's a test to just your ability to surrender. And I trust that whatever my divine purpose in life is, whatever your divine purpose in life is, I feel that we're all here to do something and to contribute to society in some way. But I always tell people, again, through, you know, losing parents and the physical and going through that experience, that when people transition, your life is not measured by these massive things that you did. Whether it's somebody you know, like a family member like me with my parents, or it might be a sibling, a cousin, it could be, you know, a public figure, right? But you're not remembered solely for these large accomplishments you have. You're remembered for the way that you made people feel every day. When you think about somebody like Martin Luther King, yes, we know the I Have a Dream speech, the big things, because that's what's taught historically. But in terms of how Dr. King is remembered, it's from his day-to-day mission to show up and create that humanity and that union within mankind, right? Like that was his mission, and that's what he practiced day in and day out. And so what I'm just really being intentional about is just making sure that I'm showing up every day and every moment, making it count, doing my best to stay present, to stay peaceful, to stay plugged into the infinite source, right, which is God, and just allowing myself to allow the divine to work through me and guide me to wherever it is that I'm supposed to go. And I believe that through this time of being still and through this time of just being open and receptive, that the path that I'm supposed to take, I will be led to it. And I was talking to one of my friends the other day, shout out to Sarah, hey sis, and I was just saying, like, what do you do when you're in this in this middle ground where it's like you're not where you want to be. I don't even know if I want to say not where you want to be. Let me take that back. What I'm trying to say is like, what do you do when you're in the waiting period, right? When you know that you recognize how fragile life is, and you recognize that you want to make sure that your contribution on this earth is something that really matters and something that's really adding value. And that's going to be different for all of us, right? Like, I work professionally in marketing. Some people, marketing is their contribution, their mind and their thoughts about marketing, or their thoughts about, I don't know, interior design, their thoughts about anything, y'all. I don't know. Like, people are put on this earth to be teachers. There's so many things. And like I said, we all have different purposes, and that's something that is to be revealed to us individually. But just like, what do you do when you're in that space of knowing, okay, well, I've gone through experiences in life that I have to show up intentionally. Everything has to be done with intention, and I only want to do things that are in alignment with me. So what do you do in that time period where you're waiting for these opportunities that are in alignment with you, while you also feel like, okay, but finances are real, right? Responsibility is a real thing. You don't want to put your life on a shelf. You still want to have motion, right? You want to have like forward movement. So what do you do? And we were talking about it, and she was like, girl, you literally have to be still. Like, you have to be okay with the fact that in this moment, I have to be still. And that's when those things come to you. That's when those divine opportunities come to you. It's not when you're constantly running, grabbing, trying to grab onto things, or trying to chase things, or trying to apply for this and run after this and do this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we try things and we figure out what we like and what we don't like. And I definitely do believe that going through that path allows us to get closer to what it is that we're supposed to do on this earth, and how it is that we are to show up. But I do feel that a big portion of that is allowing us to surrender to the greater plan for our lives. Child, I need to take a drink. Come on. Right now, I am reading this book by Ayanna Van Zant called The Value in the Valley, but she also has a book called In the Meantime. And just like I'm talking to y'all about right now, I haven't read In the Meantime, but the title really resonated with me. It really penetrated my spirit, because I was like, wow, like, I'm really in a space of my life of figuring out, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? And what I've been guided to do is just show up, to just take every day as every day. And when I have these thoughts that I'm sharing with y'all on my camera right now, I have thoughts, my tongue is green. I have thoughts like this all the time. I have these different divine downloads that I'll receive when I'm driving, and I'll do a voice note, or I'll write them down. I think I was telling y'all this in one of my last videos, but I'll write it down in my notes, or but I will always just kind of write this stuff down and let it just be in my notes that I will go back and reflect on, and I will always keep them to myself. Not in like a stingy way, I just never thought to share them. I talk to my friends about the things that I'm thinking about, for sure. Like, as I'm getting these different divine downloads, I'm definitely sharing them with my friends, but I was just kind of keeping them to myself. And I feel like right now I'm just being really called, as I'm exploring life and going through this journey of evolving into a woman, as a 25-year-old young, gifted, and Black woman, okay? I just feel really called to share these things with y'all as I'm figuring it out, because it's like, child, we don't know what's going on. Don't nobody know what's going on. And I feel like a lot of times we be scrolling on social media, feeling like comparison, like, this person is doing this, I need to be more strategic in this. Especially as content creators, it's like, how can I be like this? I need to curate my feed to look like this. I need to create more content. I need to post 25 times a day. I need to do this, 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 and this. And I feel like the only thing we need to do is be still, figure out who you are, how you want to show up in the world, what direction you're going in, and just do it. Just create the art. Just show up in the world. Contribute to your community. Volunteer, right? There's so many different things. And again, we all have different callings, but I really do feel like right now I'm in a space in life where I'm being called to just be still and just be okay with surrendering, total surrender. Not some, all right, fine, here, I'll give you 80%, but I'm still holding this 20 for me. Like, total surrender, and just trusting that everything is going to work out in divine order and in divine timing. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense to y'all. I just wanted to come on and share what I'm thinking about and what I'm going through right now. But yeah, so I'm just enjoying this journey, and I'm enjoying sharing with y'all and the community, and just the conversations, the vulnerability that y'all are having with me, and the vulnerability that I'm having with you is so special and so sacred. And I know that we're building something really special here. So if this message can inspire somebody, I'm grateful for it, even if it's one person. And yeah, y'all, we just got to be still and just trust and allow everything to unfold the way that it will be. Don't beat yourself up feeling like you're not doing enough or you should be doing more. You're doing your best. And as long as we show up every day and set our intention to do our best and be kind and be intentional with how we contribute, where do you go wrong in that? Let's all learn how to honor our feminine, especially as us strong Black women out here, okay? We ain't gotta be strong all the time. And that is definitely a message to myself. So let's just continue to honor our feminine and trust that sometimes we do need to definitely sit in that and honor that more, because that's going to help us figure out where it is that we need to get to. That's all I got. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next video, and until next time, bye.